Good morning and welcome to our Spokane City Council study session for today. We have three topics: fire overtime modeling, Empire Health Foundation Camp Hope update, and the Green Fleet Plan update. And we're going to start with the fire overtime modeling. And if you, we got a lot going on today, so if you have a quick question, feel free. But if you have extensive questions, we will schedule a follow-up meeting with more of the fire administration team to answer that. So do you want to come on up?
Well, I'm assuming I come over here.
You, right?
Access the presentation.
Yeah, we still need you to talk in front of this mic, but you can move that mouse. Can come.
I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna get introduced.
So, council members, I want to introduce you to Ozzy Grippentrog. He is a temporary seasonal employee with us who's helping to fill in a lot of the high-level analytics that we do. So I hired him November-ish, November timeframe to help us with fire in terms of finding the sweet spot for staffing between permanent FTEs and overtime and what that balance is. So we've been working a lot with the fire leadership on this, and he's here to present to you the model that he's developed for the city and give you some of the outcomes of that review. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, so let's see if we can open this up. I should play music while I'm standing here.
We can hum.
Okay, I think we are
You first.
good to go.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hold on one second. Yeah, I'm going to do one other thing. I want to have another file opened in the background while I'm doing this so that I can jump to it without having to.
Is he going to read this word for word?
I think so.
Okay, so I guess I got to enable editing, otherwise it won't let me do what I want to do. Okay, back to the presentation. Good afternoon. My name's Ozzy Grippentrog, as Tanya told you. I came from the private sector originally. I was a casino analyst for many years in Las Vegas. Moved to Idaho and became a government employee in the budget office. And so I've got a really odd career history to myself. But when I was at the city of Boise, I was responsible for the budget, and we did a lot of work with fire and police and all the other agencies. But they were the ones I ended up going over as the finance manager to manage their finances for a couple of years, and then went on my own, and now I'm before you. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to give you a brief introduction of why I'm here. So Tanya called, and you had experienced some dramatic increases in your overtime pay, starting in pretty much 2020 and through 2022. You had an auditor or multiple auditors come in, do some forensic auditing to try and identify any kind of issues that might have occurred, and they thought there might be some potential impropriety. That's what they suggested, and so when Tanya had me come in, I went down a different path, and I decided to do what I call a root cause analysis, where I went in and I looked at the sizing of your organization to determine what the right fit of the number of firefighters would be to cover for vacations, sick time, everything else. And so that's the avenue that I went down. So I identified your staffing shortfalls through the same information that you provided to the auditors. I used all the same information in my work. And then I also identified any budgetary savings that should have occurred as a result of this overtime, because if you have fewer people that are in your staff, you should have some vacancy savings, and we'll discuss that in a little bit when I get to it. What I do want to tell you is that all of my work was done with the labor agreements as they were in place. I didn't use the current labor agreements because you've made modifications now that have changed some of these things, so I wanted to do something the way it would have looked in that point in time. So I just wanted to make that clear. Okay, so what I did is I counted the number of apparatus you have. You have 14 engines, 2 ladders, 3 quints, 3 ARUs, which are alternate response units. And then you have a safety officer, which technically is not an apparatus, but it's a position that's filled 24/7, 365. So I treat it as a position that needs to be occupied. And then you have in each of your apparatus, you have an officer, and an officer can either be a captain or a lieutenant, so they're merged into an officer title. You have a fire equipment officer who's more of a senior firefighter, driver, that type of position, and then you have your standard firefighter positions. And so that's the number of different people on each apparatus at any given time. So that's one thing I do want to point out, and I note here, is that I did not look at battalion chiefs. I didn't include them in this analysis. I didn't include anybody from training. I didn't include anybody from logistics or investigations or anything else. This is really just purely operations is what I was focusing my attention on. So when you take all of those positions and multiply them by the number of apparatus, that gives me 69 total positions that need to be filled per platoon, and you have 4 platoons. So I'm just going to go jump right to the next page. That you multiply all those numbers, that means you need a bare minimum of 276 people to fill all of your positions, 365. So
And just, that's not counting vacation or
this
sick
is,
or anything like that.
Nobody gets a vacation day. Nobody gets, this would be 276 people who are working every single shift, all the time. So thank you, that's exactly right. So that's not realistic, obviously. So then we go to the next step. And this is where I came in and I calculated in a given year, you have 8,766 hours that have to be filled. And that's 365.25 times 24 because I want to account for leap year. I didn't know when just me being me. So you can see that with 4 platoons, you have 2,192 hours that have to be filled. That means you need 91 shifts for an individual in a given year. And that doesn't matter whether it's an officer, a fire equipment officer, or a firefighter, it's always going to be 91. What's going to lower that amount is your sick accruals or sick time off and any vacation that's taken. And that varies depending on the position. So an officer with 19 years of service would accrue 11 days of vacation. A firefighter would only accrue 7 days of vacation. So these are all, everybody gets the same annual sick. It's 7.58 days regardless. So in a year, you're going to have a position that does not work those 18 days. So you've got to fill for that. So typically, if everyone took every one of their sick days and they took all of their vacation, you're only going to be able to work 72 shifts per firefighter in a given year. Somebody has to cover those 18. So the math works out that for every 3.91 officers, you need another position. For every 4.51 fire equipment officers, you need another position. For every 5.26, you need another position. So when you saw, there's 92 officers, for instance. So you divide that 92 by the 3.91, and that means you're going to need 24 additional people on staff to cover for those days off and those times. And that number changes depending on the type of position. So when you run all the math out, that would say that you would need 339 FTEs in the organization to be optimal. And that number is very movable. It depends on lots of variables. If you have a lot of retirements going out in the officer, that number is going to come down. It'll lower your number. If you have more people rising in the ranks and accruing more time, that number will go up. So it's fluid. It doesn't stick at 339, but that's the number we kind of used for this analysis. My mouth is so dry. I wish I had Okay. Let's see. So let's go to the next page. So now that's the math. We came up with 339. We think that's the right number. What I wanted to do is I wanted to test that to see if that makes sense in a real world scenario. So what I did was I created the simulator to automatically populate randomly people taking time off throughout the organization and to see what that would look like and to see if that calculates out with the same math that I just did and showed you. And so I use the same rules as your collective labor agreement where it's 1 on, 3 off. I created a separate schedule for your officers, one for your fire equipment officers and one for the firefighters. I'm only going to show you officers because when I tested everything, it all worked. So I was comfortable. What you'll see is I calculate the break even at 50 shifts a year. And the reason for that is overtime is time and a half. So 1.5 times 50 is 75. That means if it's 50 or more, it should be filled by a full-time position. Anything less should be a part-time, should be overtime coverage is really what it's going to boil out to. And then I will hopefully be able to get into this quickly and easily. So here you go. This is what a schedule would look like. You can't really see it too well on this screen, but so this is Station 1, engine, L. What is L? Ladder, thank you. Engine, ladder.
Can you make sure you're a little closer to the microphone and just pull the...
Is it on?
Yeah.
Because I don't even hear myself. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm going to stand over here. Okay, so you can see that anything in red is populating with a replacement from the extra pool. And so you can see it shifts. And so what this is doing, this is designed to do, is to just replicate a year of staffing changes. Now, here's where remember I gave you that 50. This is the number that, in this scenario, we would need 26 people to be optimal instead of the 24 that I showed you on the paper. But that number changes depending on, so this time it's still 26. Now it's 26. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now we're down to 24. So it fluctuates. It's not always the same, but it is in the same range, which tells me that my numbers are reasonable and they can be tested. So now we'll go back into our presentation here. So what I did was I identified the actual number of FTEs that you had in your organization in 2019, 2020, and 2021. I took the math of the different levels of each type of position and did the difference between them to their actual, multiplied that by the new overtime rate that I got from your information, and then I calculated what the difference would be. And so then I took that information and I matched it up to what you actually paid in overtime to see how the two numbers compare. And that's essentially the work that I did. What I really want to caution everyone, this is high level. I'm using averages, I'm using groups of people, so it's not going to be to the dime or to the penny or really anything close. I'm not even using when someone leaves partway through their day. I'm assuming a full day replacement of a full day replacement. So I'm trying to minimize all of these little side things that can really send you down a rabbit hole and keep it large and simple. So these are your actual results for 2019, 2020, and 2021. The reason I broke out, and this is 3 different breakouts of the same information. The reason I broke out, sorry, I'll try and talk in here. The reason I broke out mobilizations in the first group is because we're going to discuss that in a little bit. But you can see you have by position, your captains, your FEOs, lieutenants, firefighters, what their OT was, and then I lumped them for my analysis into officers, FEOs, and firefighters down below. And so in 2019, in operations, you spent $2.3 million, $5.4 million in 2020, and $7.9 million in 2021 in OT. Okay? So these are the salary data that I pulled from your information. So an officer average salary was $108,000, FEO $94,000, and a firefighter at $86,000. That went up to $90,000 for a firefighter in 2021, and you can see the overtime rates, obviously 1.5 times that. That's the number that I'll be using in my math here in a little bit. Now, I have a note here that in 2021, and it's actually probably more applicable in the next page, so I'll just get to that.
Quick question, on your overtime salaries, is that actually what the average overtime, or is that just if that was full-time overtime?
I took all of your positions,
Yeah.
averaged their salaries for all the people that you had on staff
Right.
in each year,
Yeah.
and multiplied it by 1.5.
Okay, so it's not necessarily what an individual officer got
No.
paid
So
across the
well,
board?
right. It would have been a blend because I had to, like I said, I wanted to keep this high level.
But
and-
it wasn't, I guess, the above was the average. The bottom one is not the average overtime that people got.
No, the bottom one is simply the top times 1.5.
Time 1.5, okay, great.
Real simple. Okay, so then here's your actual FTEs that you had in each year. In 2019, you had 323. In 2020, you had 302. And in 2021, you had 283. And then you can see in now remember, our magic number off to the right now is 339. So we're not reaching that number in any of those given years. What you'll see in 2019, which is interesting, is you had the correct amount of officers, and you were short on firefighters and FEOs. And back in that time, the agreement allowed a captain or a lieutenant to ride backwards on an apparatus and get paid his overtime rate at his current grade, not as a firefighter level grade. So it allowed them to make, that's been modified. The new contract did away with that. And the new contract actually made a lot of changes that are not really relevant in this discussion here. So they've updated quite a few things actually to the benefit of the organization. So you have, oops, might as well get my notes. Oh, I do want to make a comment on the prior page, and I realize I'd forgotten this. In 2021, the vacancies this is where I mentioned the vacancies. I'm going to actually go back up. I'm going to start this over. You see the firefighter in 2021 is the salary $90,000, right? Mm-hmm. That's the average salary of your people on staff. Your budgeted salaries for vacancies in the system were at a beginning firefighter at almost $45,000. So you did have 15 or you had quite a few of vacancies in your system, but they were only budgeted at a beginning firefighter salary, so you were never recovering a regular salary, not to mention the overtime salary for those people. So you did have a savings, it just didn't materialize to the level that was offset by the OT. And so you got a question.
No, I said, wow.
Yeah, that was a surprise for me too, because when I was going through the data, I saw that. So now I'm going to go back, and we're going to talk about 2019 real quick. You saw that I mentioned that the officers were able to ride backwards and get paid at their current rate. That's been modified. In 2021, this is where I'm a little concerned, is because you have 283 FTEs on staff, and your absolute minimum is 276. So you were really close at that point. And I kind of call this a death spiral, because what ends up happening when you get to that level is, oh, thank you so much. What a guy. What a guy. Much better. Okay. So what ends up happening is, because you're so thin, the guys that are coming back are filling positions more and more, and they're getting burned out, which causes them to leave, which causes a lower level of service, which causes more burnout, and it's a never-ending system that you really want to get a hold of. Another thing that at that same time, and I mentioned the Mobies, they were doing mobilizations. They were doing mobilizations in 2021, and those are great because you get refunded 100% for those. And in a normal circumstance, you want to participate in those because it's also a benefit for your firefighters to get that experience. So there's lots of good things about that. But when your staffing level drops to these precipitously low levels, you probably want to pass on the mobilizations. You probably want to do everything in your organization to minimize people leaving at that point. And there was a note I had before that at that same time, 10 to 15 officers left because of COVID vaccine mandates. So you had this compounding effect, probably at the worst time in the organization. We can't, it's easy for me to look back in the past and say, yeah, I should have done this, should have done this. When you're in the heat of all of the craziness, it's really, really difficult to make these decisions and to know how to respond and what to do. So I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not saying it was just a conglomeration of bad things that all kind of occurred at the same time and really put some pressure on the organization. So one thing that you did, which I think is admirable, is you could have chosen to brown out your stations during this time, because that's a simple way to kind of help build up your staff. If you have one less station open, that means you have more people on staff to be able to fill. During a pandemic or an EMS emergency like that, that's probably, I wouldn't think that would be the best decision, because you want to have people out there doing the work, taking care of, being responsible, to take care of your citizens. So that's, I think that was, closing stations I think would have been questionable. Let's just put it that way. So let's go into, now we're going to talk, this is where the rubber meets the road. So you have your actual overtime in the top for all your different positions. So you spent 2.3, 5.4, 7.9. When I ran the math based on the overage and shortages of your staffing levels, I came up with 2.1, 5.2, and 8.3 million in calculated overtime, simulated overtime. So I was off. You can see I'm off heavily on officers, but we've already explained that. But in total, I was off by about 190,000 in 2019. I was off another 190 in 2020. I was a little high in 2021, but if you run the three of them together and you look in the order of magnitude, you're talking 8, 13, 15, almost 16 million in OT, and I'm within 50 grand just doing this simple math process. So that gives me great confidence that this was purely staffing level driven. There was nothing else going on in the organization. I'm not going to say nobody did anything wrong because people are humans. They make mistakes. But as a systemic problem that you had to deal with, it was, I think, purely staffing related. And so I think we get into my conclusions, and we do. So in my opinion, overtime was a result of dramatically low and falling staffing levels. I don't think there was a problem there. I don't think systemic impropriety was a problem, or I think it was unlikely. I think you had fewer and fewer people filling the same amount of positions that needed to be filled. And you're gonna, if a firefighter is on vacation and his vacation's canceled because you can't travel, and he says, okay, I'm still on vacation, but I'll go fill a sick day, or I'll go fill a vacation day and use it and get paid overtime. If it's not that person, someone else is going to fill that spot. It had to be filled, and it's going to be filled with overtime. So it really doesn't matter.
So are you saying that if we'd have had effectively 339 full-time people on staff, that we would have saved significantly?
Yes.
Do you know what that number is that we would have saved?
You wouldn't have saved all 8 million because you're still going to have overtime, but I think it would be back to your normal overtime levels, which are probably, I think, around $1.5 million to 2. Is that correct?
I think so.
Because I'm not including all the other areas that did get overtime. I think your total overtime was closer to 9. So that's going to still be there, and then you would be probably another $1 million. I'm ballparking, but I would think, well, it's not going to be 8. I guarantee you that.
And you know, these issues have obviously, and there's others that can talk about this, have gone on for far longer than just 2020 to present. And so knowing that, and I don't know if you'd done that research, but knowing that these problems had preceded that, would that give you any sort of an indication that there's other issues or simply just staffing?
I think it was predominantly, well, I mean, there's other issues that there's always running 4 platoons versus 3 is a decision. Running, I mean, these are operational council level organizational decisions. That's not my call. I'm just saying these are things that have an impact. So, you know, that there's lots of other things that are involved in all of this. I was really just trying to find out, were you guys getting taken advantage of by the firefighters, or was this purely a staffing problem and they were trying to do their job and they were just filling when they could because they were getting thin? And that was really the path I went down. I didn't try and do a forensic audit looking at everybody's timesheets and all that kind of stuff. I just really wanted to say, order of magnitude, is this the problem or is it not? And I think staffing was the problem.
Are we doing questions now?
Yeah, you can do
Okay.
Sure.
Thanks. You know, this is good information, and Council Member Cathcart's correct. This has been going on a lot longer than 2020. We've been hearing about it. Councilmember Stratton and I have been on the council a while and worked at City Hall for a while. This has been a problem. It's not overtime. It's over the overtime budget, if that makes sense. So they all have an overtime budget.
Correct.
But going over their overtime budget has been a problem for quite a while. I'm a little concerned because when we pointed this out, the hiring should have taken place long before there was a problem. So you know you're going to have attrition, you know people are going to retire, so always recruiting, always hiring to fill those gaps, not waiting until you have a deficit of 20 people and then, oops, we better hire. I see that as a management issue. Council is not operational, so we pass legislation and worry about the budget. And so for me, the budget issue is the overtime. The other piece is when overtime is posted, so you need to fill overtime. are the officers, are the firefighters who are electing to do overtime the highest paid ones? How is that rotation process managed? So are you getting the folks who are paid the lowest paid, an average, or the very highest paid? Now, I'm saying this because we know we have firefighters who are making an excess of $300,000 a year, or they have in the past, because of all the overtime. These are high-paid people in the department, and then even more salary added on, or not salary, but overtime added on because of the overtime.
Yeah.
So I see this as quite a few problems, but this background is good. I just want you to know it's been going on a lot longer than 19 or 20. So
Sure.
I'm a little cynical, I guess,
Yeah.
is what I'd say.
But you weren't experiencing overtime at the level that you were in the last
Certainly
couple of
not, but it was
that's-
always an issue, and it was always concerning, because every year it seemed to be a little bit more. And so we thought, who is actually looking at this and managing this, so that when you present us with your budget and your overtime budget, is that realistic? Clearly, no, it wasn't, because they went over that. So, and it was never corrected. And so I guess that's why I say this to you, with good information. Wish we had had you 5 years ago, so we could have gotten this under control.
Well, and to be perfectly honest, this is not a one-time solution. We'll get into my recommendations or conclusions. This is something you have to do on a regular basis going forward. It's either quarterly, semi-annually, annually, at least, to just make sure, are we right-sized? Do we have and looking at because here's an issue. You have 300-plus members who, just doing simple math, 10 to 15 a year are going to retire out.
Exactly.
You need a recruit academy just to cover that. Forget about everything else that's going on. Forget about COVID and people leaving because of all these other circumstances and people just migrating.
Yes.
You know, there's lots of issues. I'm not trying to give you guys this, lovely little, paint this beautiful picture. I'm just trying to say, here's the stuff that's the big ticket items that I think we can probably come up with a solution that will help, and it will lower the overtime budget will come down, because you're not going to be filling so often with people. When I showed you the 283, pretty much every single person that was sick or on vacation during that time was getting replaced with overtime. They had no other choice. There was no other resource to rely on at that time, and that's why that was happening. So all of the stuff that I'm going to tell you as a recommendation, they're already working on and moving forward. They're already implementing a lot. They've already implemented in their CLA to change some of those circumstances, because when you have a use it or lose it system, where if I don't take my vacation, it's gone. If I don't take my sick, I lose it. They're going to do it. They're going to take it. Even if they don't feel well, if they feel fine, they're going to take their sick time, because it's mine. It's the mentality. It's my time, so I want it back. And so that's what happens when you go over these kinds of situations where, at that time, they were sick. I mean, I would imagine a lot of your firefighters were sick and dealing with stuff during that period, and so they were getting shrunk. It was like a perfect storm of bad economic things that can happen. And go ahead.
So has it been fixed, the whole issue of the vacancies that were budgeted for the 44,000? But the
I
replacement
can't answer
was
that question because I didn't look at your
90,000.
current budget, so I don't know in your 2023 budget. I haven't looked at it
So
to
we-
see if that's been resolved.
That could be something we could,
It's not.
So
I'm sure
I'll
it's
let
still 44.
I'll let Tanya, if she wants. Is it okay if I just finish? Let me get to the end, and then you can go back.
And then we'll tell you phase two.
Yeah, because
Perfect.
I think that's better, because
Okay.
they filled me in just before we started. So, as I told you before, I thought you acted responsibly during the pandemic. When you could have browned out, you chose to maintain service levels, you chose EMS response to keep that active. It was an expensive call, but you chose lives over finances. You can always replace money. You can't replace someone's mom. So that was the right, in my opinion, I'm telling you what my opinion is, it was the right call. As I told you, the budgetary savings really didn't materialize because the vacancies were budgeted at that lower level. A lot of the stuff that we have discussed now have been taken care of in the CLA, which is good. They're already moving in the right direction. A lot of these things have been resolved. And then, like I said, right sizing is going to be something you want to do on a regular basis. It's not 339. It could be 330. It could be 345. It's going to vary depending on what's in the CLA, there's lots of rules that are going to be affecting all of this. If you're giving more of an incentive in buyback, they're going to take less of that time. They're not going to require that position to be filled with an overtime call. Okay, so where to go from here? Like I said, recruit academies. And this is big, regular and recurring, because you have a constant flow of people leaving the organizations, and you always have to have that constant flow coming in. The mobilization, and I would say not just mobilization, but any situation that will cause your staff to fall to a dangerously low level, you need to make the call on what that threshold needs to be. So it could be 300, it could be 320. I would let your fire command staff come up with that threshold, and you just say, look, once we hit this bar, we're not doing any mobilizations. We're not going to do anything that's going to risk firefighters going out of the organization. And even though you do get money for them and they're great, there are certain times where it doesn't benefit you, and that will be a decision I think you'd want to, and that, again, can be a floating factor. It doesn't have to always be set in stone. You fixed your vacation and sick leave buyback. Like I mentioned, you have had use it or lose it situations, and now that's been remedied, so that's another positive. And then, like I said, ongoing analysis of your staffing levels, your overtime, your budgets, all of that stuff, just to make sure that you're always in the sweet spot, and that you're not overhired so that you have people sitting around, and you're not underhired where you're just filling with OT, which is the more expensive call. So that is the
All right,
input.
I have one question and then a quick couple
Okay.
of comments. So you mentioned earlier in the thing that 50 shifts, if there's going to be 50 shifts of overtime, that's the threshold for when you want to hire someone rather than use overtime. Was that just for one classification position?
One position that would have more than 50 shifts in a year, that would be where you'd want to make the call of putting that
Right.
into
Was that across the board for senior
pretty
equipment?
much everybody. Yeah,
Okay,
50
so
would be your kind of your
okay.
bar that you'd want to.
All right, and then just the two comments, though, I mean, super great information, yeah. But it looks to me, when I look at what our staffing is, that the deliberate decisions about whether or not to have academies led to this, as well as the sort of unlimited, we'll say yes to every mobilization. So that's what exacerbated whatever the thing. So it's very helpful to see that so that we can do that. So, and again, we'll schedule some more time on this, but we've got other people who are coming here today.
Well, Tanya had one last thing she wanted to mention. About,
Okay, great.
And then I will let you.
Yep.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Ozzy.
Thank you.
Yes, Council, we know that this is a lot of information for you to take at one time. So we are planning to also come back to you, now that you've kind of heard some of this data. The model that Mr. Grippentrog has developed, it is a tool now for the fire department to use that for scheduling and to always keep sites on that sweet spot of when do we add more, when do we not take more. But we also want to come back to you to remind you of what we're doing proactively to manage overtime to the greatest extent possible. We're also building a Power BI reporting tool so that leadership and other folks can actually see it as it correlates with vacancies and those different position types. So we do have more information. We will come forward again, hopefully in a month or so, and give you more updates of what we're doing to resolve the staffing shortfall, and also remind you some of those many fixes that were negotiated into the CLA.
Real quick, so if we own the model now, can we use this for other departments, notably SPD?
We can certainly take a look at it. This was very specific for fire. They do have unique circumstances, 24, 365, so unique shifts. But modeling can be done
Should be similar.
for any of our departments.
Be great.
Councilmember Bingle.
I think quickly what I heard from Councilwoman Kinnear and others is a plug for bolstering the budget department. I think that's what I heard.
You heard that we weren't aggressive enough in filling our academies and hiring. And we weren't accurate in our budgeting.
Yeah. It wasn't a lack of hours. It was political decisions of what to put that number. Even though we knew the number was going to be higher, it was still lower. Yeah.
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 That went a different direction than what I was saying. Having the analyst is great. That's the point that I was trying to make. Having the analysts and getting...
There are benefits to
Yes.
having a highly skilled analyst,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely.
And we need more.
Yes.
That's
Does he
the point
get
I
to
was
stay? And
He's temp seasonal, so we do have a lot of, with the vacancies and the lack of resources, Ozzy has agreed to be a temp seasonal to help us with some very, as you saw, this is very technical, very detailed, and he also has a great background. He knows a lot about government operations already, so it's nice to have somebody that you can just plug in. It's high, the skill set's right. It's complexity, he understands it, so we do have him for a little bit, very specific for projects.
It's good.
Okay?
So the next time when you come back, what I want to hear is what's the threshold where we don't do the Moby? And what's the threshold for we add an additional academy? Because I think those are the two kind of high-level, council-level things, like what is the trigger for both of those? And then we'll feel confident that you're managing it. If we know, yep, you hit that trigger, we don't do that, and you hit that trigger, we add a second academy or a third, whatever it is. So if you let us know your thinking on that.
Oberg.
Yeah. Okay, excellent.
Yeah, so more to come, council.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, Zeke Smith from Empire Health Foundation, come on up.
And Megan.
Well, and Megan Vincello, our friend.
Council President Beggs, council members, staff, thank you for inviting us to come and speak. We'll be quick so we can talk and have some conversation together, if that's helpful. Holly, you got our presentation, yes?
Oh, it looks like the folder was closed. Hang on just a second.
That's okay. Yes, I did bring with me somebody who I think most of you recognize, my coworker and partner in this work, Megan Vincello, who is our kind of lead point on the right-of-way work, the Camp Hope work, and homeless services as well. So great. I'll share a little bit of information, and then we can have some conversation. So as a reminder, Empire Health Foundation has been brought on by the Department of Commerce. So we're under contract with the Department of Commerce for coordination of outreach and engagement services specific to the Right-of-Way Initiative and the closing of Camp Hope in our community. There's two primary outcomes that that program has here. One is to close the camp, and the second one is to do that by ensuring that there's better housing options that are provided to the individuals that are there. So I want to just give you a little bit of an update in terms of where we are. We can talk about kind of ongoing progress, and then I want to share a little bit of the finances with you, which is, I know, been one of the questions folks have been interested in. Do I have the ability to move the slides?
Yeah, you should be able to use the mouse and click on the sides, or you can use the arrows on the
Okay.
keyboard.
Great. So that's what we're going to talk about. Our most recent numbers in terms of what's happening at the camp, population size, about 124 individuals, down from 467 in October. We have 19 vehicles still there, and 78 tents or structures in the vehicle number. That includes RVs. It also includes other kinds of vehicles. And then to date, 56 individuals have transitioned specifically to the Catalyst project, which is one of the other primary funded parts of the Right-of-Way Initiative. Worth acknowledging, the work on the ground is really a function of primarily three organizations: Jules Helping Hands, Revive, Counseling Spokane, and Compassion Addiction Treatment, but also a whole host of other organizations that have been providing support at the camp. One of the reasons I think that's important to acknowledge is, in many ways, the services at the camp are reflective of what we might think of as navigation services that you might associate with the Navigation Center. I know that's been part of the conversation folks have talked about in terms of homeless services more broadly. And also acknowledge, I know that many of you were out of camp recently, shining a positive light on some of the work that's happened there, and I think also putting an intentional focus on collaboration, which I appreciate because I think that's both a function of what has happened to date, but also what we hope to see as we continue. In terms of additional ways of thinking about the progress there, most recently, we've done a more intensive needs assessment, specifically thinking about those individuals that are still at the camp and where their needs, in many ways, are and often are more acute than the needs of other individuals who have been referred to existing housing options to date. So really trying to get a sense of what we're going to need to do to most effectively meet their needs and recognizing that many of them have needs which don't allow them to participate even where there may be shelter beds available. So they're just not eligible to engage in those shelters based on some of what the needs are.
Can you give
that
us
they
some
have.
examples of that, just so we paint a picture of what that
Sure,
looks like?
sure, yeah. So some of those individuals can't meet their adult daily living needs, and the shelters that we have are unable to get insurance for individuals who can't basically meet their own independent independent living skills, and so they can't actually participate in those shelters. Some of the individuals have intensive substance use issues that preclude them from being able to participate at the shelters. Some of them have other kinds of medical or mental health needs that also represent challenges for that population. So when we think about kind of beds open in the system, that's, I think, an important question. But really, when we talk about this population that are still there, sorry, I felt like I needed to be close to the mic. There are different challenges with this population. And I think that's important also to point out, because as we talk about what we're going to need to do to close the camp and to move those individuals from the camp, we're collectively going to need to be thinking about what kinds of other housing options we may need to put in place in order to support those individuals.
I'll just quickly say I know one of the other acute challenges is medication management. That's
Correct.
not what the shelter does, or not what they were designed to do, but that complexity in finding housing in other facilities, there are no beds. I just want to say, as a provider in that field, there are no beds really available for this last leg of this decommissioning that camp for the people we're trying to serve, whether it's criminal background or substance abuse or medication management. There is just no services that is available readily to make that transition. And I think it'll be a while before those services are stood up to meet those needs in our community.
Okay.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of something that Councilwoman Wilkerson just said, you described some pretty serious health complexities for some individuals there that can slow down the process of getting them into housing that can help. Are there any criminal barriers for people getting into housing with the 124 that are still there?
Councilmember Bingle, thank you for the question. Yes, there are. Criminal history is also one of the challenges that affects some of the population that we have at the camp. Also, as a response to Councilmember Wilkerson, I think that question of even how long it'll take to stand up more permanent or more sustainable housing options to meet this population's need is a really important one, because if we have to wait until we've figured out together how to build out those kinds of options, then we're going to have folks at the camp for a long time. So one of the things we have to be able to figure out is, are there transitional ways that we can address those needs by moving them from the camp or by offering them another option that is on the camp while we're addressing that longer term issue. So this question of transitional housing and the kinds of transitional housing that we may need as a community, not just for Camp Hope, but definitely for this population, is one that I think we'll need to be working on together in the near term, particularly as we have a common interest around closing the camp itself.
Don't we also have individuals, I don't think it's a big number, that have been able to get into assisted living situations?
Yeah, so we definitely have some individuals who've gotten into assisted living, permanent supportive housing where that's available. The as Councilmember Wilkerson indicated, it's a few and far between at this point in terms of what those options are, and there are long waiting lists for a lot of those environments. That said, yes, we have been able to find some referrals there, and I'll tell you a little bit about the money in a moment, but the Department of Commerce has also provided a portion of the right-of-way resources for us to actively work on developing some additional housing options. We are working with our service providers around some rehab or crisis beds that will have another layer of intensive support around some detox beds as well with partner Volunteers of America. So yes, there is work on that front, and I think I don't want us to not understand collectively that we have to fill a number of holes in the continuum of services.
Right.
And where that is acute is definitely at a permanent housing level, and then also in some of our transitional housing options.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, just a couple questions. So I think the capacity at the Catalyst is 80 to 90, right? So probably 30 more spaces. So are any of the 120 that are left at the camp, do you expect will fill out those remaining slots? And then for, some of those more extreme cases that you described, is there any discussions locally or statewide on, institutionalization options for the most extreme situations and things like that?
Yeah,
Kind of where that's
Councilmember
at.
Cathcart, thanks for the question. Councilmember Stratton, thanks for not chiding me when I didn't thank you for the question. Great question. There are actually as many as potentially 120 beds at the Catalyst project. It's 85 rooms. Some of those are singles, some of those are doubles, so it depends a little bit on kind of the mix of individuals. But there's definitely more capacity there. And we continue to work with Catholic Charities to get individuals from Camp Hope there. I think some of the 120 may qualify for and end up in those beds. We're also, the 467 to 120 doesn't, or 128, whatever it is, doesn't mean that all of those other individuals have been successfully placed in housing options. And so we anticipate that some of those individuals who our service providers are still working with may also fill that gap. It is true that the beds at the Catalyst project are prioritized for individuals that are involved in the Right-of-Way Initiative and Camp Hope. So, and it's been a bit of a slow process, but I think in an appropriate way to get folks settled at the Catalyst project. So, I think we all, on some level, hoped that as soon as that project opened, we'd have 120 folks that were in there. And the reality is, in order to do it in a way that ensures a level of sustainability and effective support for those individuals, they've really taken a slower path on the intake and assessment, and we support that because it means that there's more stickiness in terms of those individuals being successful there.
What about the institutionalization piece?
Oh, yeah, thank you. We're having some conversations with folks about that. I think the challenge is that beds at places like Eastern are also a challenge, are difficult. I think we know that in particular folks who have need for institutionalization that is not specifically incarceration, but where the preceding incident might be criminal. So somewhat to your question earlier, we know that the state as a whole has a challenge with the kinds of beds that really support those individuals. I think there's a proposal from the governor for an additional 360 beds that would specifically be for that population. Some of the folks that we're talking about might fit into that category. Those beds aren't. Whether or not the legislature funds them, it's going to be a while before they're in place. So yes, I think we want to, as a community, continue to have conversations with statewide institutions. I think to Councilmember Wilkerson's point, DSHS has responsibility for sort of supporting individuals that need additional medical care, intensive medical care on a 24/7 basis, and we just don't have access to enough of those options right now to meet people's needs.
And I was going to save this one for later, but you sort of mentioned it. Of the 467, we went down to 124 from October until now. How many of those 343 do we know have gone into permanent housing, or have a couple of hundred of those of that population ended up at like TRAC or another shelter or something like that?
Yeah, so we're Councilmember Bingle, thanks for the question. We are tracking kind of what we know about that larger population, so the 300 or so or more, 350. Some of them we've lost track of. This is oftentimes a pretty transient population, and so we're working with our service providers to re-engage those individuals. Some of them, regardless of where they initially went to, have ended up in homeless in other encampments even. So that's a part of where we're starting to look at outreach into those environments. We do have a population that is fairly steadily at the track shelter as a temporary and transitional space that they're working at. I don't have an exact number for you on the number that we would say have been placed into housing options. It's considerably more than the 56 that are just at Catalyst, but it's not as many as we want. The good news is the resources that we have received from the state, the intent is for those resources to be sustained over time, and that we can continue to provide both the tier navigation and the additional supports to get those folks into housing options. But the bigger issue and question, that I'll talk about as well, is that we have a much larger homeless population. Many of those individuals are in that larger homeless population at this point, and we just, the same issues that we're running into in terms of the lack of housing options and other services that can support them. It's a bigger issue for us as a community. So I think part of what we're hoping too is that we can collectively learn from what we've been doing at Camp Hope, both in terms of the kind of collaboration that providers have been able to engage in, but also in terms of the kinds of collaboration that we need with local jurisdictions to be able to both be building out the housing that we need, but also to be thinking about the kinds of coordinated services that are required to address their needs. I'm going to quickly just throw you a couple other visuals at you, but happy to answer additional questions along the way. You may have seen these, but it's just a set of drone pictures that were taken November. You can see if we had pictures as far back as July, we'd see even a more significant change. But December, when that winter weather hit us in particular, we started to really see some dramatic change. Some of that was about individuals seeking other shelter options, and some of that was about folks leaving altogether. And then we have January and February, and that February picture coincides with this most recent number, 124. You can't see it very well, but it's just worth noting that since the fencing has gone up, this represents the first time that the fencing has moved. I know that was a question that folks had along the way. So the fence on the right-hand side, which is the south side, it's the side that's closest to the freeway, has moved in about 30 feet from where it initially was.
And that's represented in that picture, the February one? Okay.
Yeah, so you can kind of see a line there. And then we talked about most of this, but I think, in terms of coordination of services, really trying to think and provide specific services for this population that has more intensive needs. I think we've learned a good bit about what it looks like when you can provide this kind of intensive service related to an encampment, and in our case, an encampment that is significantly larger than any other one we see in the state. I will point out, since the fencing has gone up and since the more coordinated services have been provided there, we have actually seen a decrease in year-over-year crime in the neighborhood. So one, thanks Councilmember Zappone for providing that public information. But also I just think it's worth noting that as there's been more intensive support there, that there's been an ability to, I think, also manage the impacts on the neighborhood as well. There's still significant crime in that neighborhood, as there is, and there's an uptick across the city, as I'm sure you all are aware. But to see that there is a change and that there's been an impact there feels important, and it's one of the things that we'll be talking to the local neighbors about. Yes.
Just when you say there's a decrease in crime, is that relative to February of a year ago or to the February prior to that, before the camp existed?
It's actually data. Thanks for the question, Councilmember Cathcart. It's data that, do you want to answer?
Yeah, I can answer it. I put in the request to SPD and Johnny. I actually got 2 different results that were comparing year, but I want to know before and after the fence went up. So it's the 2 months prior to the fence up and the 2 months after the fence went up.
Okay.
And, worth noting, there was still a significant amount of crime in that period of time. What I appreciated about the data was really trying to look at comparable points in time. So as opposed to saying just what happened before and what happened after, it really was saying what happened in the same period of time in previous years. And also that the data was parsed for some other neighborhoods as well, which allowed, I think, to also say, well, is this a function of what's happening here, or is there something different happening here than is happening in the rest of the city?
But quick clarification, so decrease since the fence went up, but still from pre the camp being there to post the camp being up there, even though we've seen a reduction with the camp, it's still up over what it would have been without the camp, is what I'm understanding, yeah.
Correct, yeah. I mean, I think there's no question that having a camp this size in a neighborhood has an impact on the surrounding neighborhood, many impacts.
But just to add to that, the report showed that it's comparable to other neighborhoods like Shiloh Hills or Riverside for the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, so the increase, the change in crime that you see in the area actually was lesser than some other neighborhoods. So interesting to look at that difference. So
From year over year, but not multiple years to that.
It's the 3-year prior average compared to this time period.
Let's see. I think we're finding that the information that we get from this process is really helpful. We're still working to ensure that information is in the CMIS system, which is a partnership that we have with the city. But I think that information can be useful as we are together looking at what we need to do in terms of addressing homelessness more broadly. I want to take you quickly to financial information. There's been a lot of questions about the amount of funding that the state has provided, where that funding is going. Overall, the state has appropriated, I think it's $25.5 million to the right-of-way initiative here in Spokane County, specifically Camp Hope. Of that, to date, we're under contract for a little over $3.4 million. That includes funding for our work around coordination, and it includes funding for peer navigation with 3 of our partners, and then additionally outreach and operations with Jules Helping Hands, and then housing navigation and referral with Spokane Low-Income Housing Consortium. You can see the figures there. And then of that 3.4, we're a little more than, or at the 6-month mark, so December 22, we had spent about 1.2 million of that, so we're actually underspending on that currently. That will increase because the first few months it was a bit of a ramp up in costs, but worth noting that we actually haven't, we're underspent on that to date. And then we have an additional 3.5, just Empire Health Foundation, that we will then contract out, that we're working on getting under contract with Commerce specifically for some of those housing options. And that will go to the existing set of providers there, but also will include a contract with Volunteers of America for access to Hope House beds, as well as detox beds, respite beds that they have. And then another way to think about that that's just worth pointing out, so people are still asking, where does all that money go? Well, a lot of that, most of that money goes to staffing to support the individuals. And so this is not FTE figures. This is real individuals. So some of it is full and some is part-time. And most all of these individuals have some lived experience. And specifically having been homeless in the past, and many of them are actually folks that were at Camp Hope, so particularly with Jules Helping Hands, but not exclusively, as they've engaged in kind of stabilizing the camp itself. A number of those individuals are people who are at the camp, and so it's also been about establishing a work record for some of those individuals. But just wanted folks to see where the resources are going, at least in terms of what we've allocated to date. Of course, the Catalyst project is different or separate from that. Other questions? or
Councilmember
thoughts?
Wilkerson and Councilmember Stratton.
So a question and a comment. I just want to go back to the institutionalization question, that there is a true process, and that does not happen overnight to get people into Eastern State. Traditionally, right now, they have to go through Sacred Heart. Their rights are taken away from them. So that just kind of gave me a little heckle. So, but that's not a quick answer to that problem. So with the entities that have contracted through Empire Health, what type of data are you getting back on the deliverables or services? Who's capturing that information and who holds it? And will that be reported out at some point?
Councilmember Wilkerson, thanks for the question. It's a really good one. There's a quick answer to the question, which is that each of our providers are capturing both initial assessment information and then ongoing service provision information. Where are people being referred and how are they engaging in that work? We also, as you can imagine, with that kind of resource coming through, have significant financial reporting requirements that our service providers are meeting on a regular basis. The longer answer is that ultimately that information in a more real-time sort of way in terms of accessibility will be and should be in the CMIS system. We had some challenges on the front end because the city was not fully under contract with Commerce to build out that program. We had some challenges with release of information forms and needing to go back through and redo that after not getting correct information about that. So just to be honest, it's been collectively, I think this has been a challenge for CMIS staff as well to get that up and running, and for us to be in a place where the peer navigators are actually on a real-time basis updating that information. So we don't have an effective data system at the moment, although we have a lot of data, and we're kind of pulling that data on a regular basis to try to be able to both tell the broader story, but also to understand what progress we're making.
So I have a statement and a question. I do not want to embarrass you, Zeke, but I have to say something. I think we all appreciate your calm, thoughtful approach that you have taken during this time of Camp Hope and all of the craziness surrounding it. You've been compassionate. Megan, you too. The compassion and the transparency, I appreciate it. I think most people know the number of emails we get from people that are angry and hateful and threatening and don't understand or don't take the time to understand the depth of the issues that we're dealing with. And I just really appreciate both of you, because the way you deliver information and the way you treat people is exactly what we should be doing, with that respect and sharing your knowledge. So I didn't want to embarrass you, but I had to say something, because it has been a crazy storm around us, and you've stayed calm during the storm, and I really appreciate it. I have a really simple question. We've gotten a couple calls, a couple emails about the dumpster. There was a dumpster removed at Camp Hope. Do we have an update on that, or what do we need to do about that to get that replaced? Do we know?
I was notified last week that one of the 4 dumpsters was removed. I believe.
I don't think we can hear you in the.
Oh,
Thanks.
well, I'm not as tall as Zeke, sorry. I was notified last week that one of the 4 dumpsters was removed. I think what has happened is the city is recognizing there's less individuals at the encampment. However, the trash levels or it's still relatively high. People collect a lot of things and then they're not able to take them. We do have storage sites down there. I haven't figured out what happened with the dumpster yet, but I've been working with WatchDOT to find different ways of trash collection if we have one of the dumpsters that's been removed.
Maybe we can do some checking to see what we can do to get
But
that
that's
back.
the city that's removed it.
Right, so that's what I'm thinking.
We need to talk to someone in administration.
Yeah, that's what I think, what we can do. But anyway, thank you. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, Councilmember Stratton, thank you as well for the acknowledgement, but also just to you all as a council. You have been paying attention to this in significant ways, and I know you've also received lots and lots of input and feedback from others, but just appreciate working with you as we move forward. I think, one of the main things I would want to communicate and just reinforce, because it's similar to what you all communicated last week, we got to work together on this issue. These are our neighbors that are both in the camp, that are homeless, but also that are affected by folks that are homeless. And so the more we have the ability to really think together and then act together around how we're doing that, we want to be a partner with you all in that process.
And we're all human.
I have a quick question for you. A few of us are going to meet tomorrow and talk about moving ahead, funding for services, and deploying our city resources. And I've, continued to hear that we've got a group of, I'm just going to call them medically fragile, and I'm defining medically broadly, people that aren't really eligible for our current shelters and are at the camp. So we need to find a place, and it will be a while before we find permanent housing. Some of us have talked a little bit about repurposing the Cannon Street building, which currently is able to have 80 people without medical issues, but getting them into a new location and then making that into something that's got medical supervision, fewer people, but Medicaid reimbursement potentially for them. I'm just wondering, as a transitional, because it wouldn't be permanent, do you think that is worth exploring? And do you think there could be an operator from that, or maybe some funding from the medical foundations who would save a lot of money if they had a place like that that was out there?
Council President Biggs, thanks for the question. I do think that we are going to need to be creative together. And that may mean looking at existing options that we have to repurpose, even if it's for a temporary time period. It will definitely mean that we're going to have to collectively push on potential partners to be a part of the solution. So in that case, I do think we're not having direct conversations at that level with medical or healthcare agencies that could support that yet. But if that's an option, we should be doing that together. And I think we're going to have to think about some other creative options as well that may be options that we haven't wanted to consider in the past. But if part of our goal here together is to be able to close that camp with an interest in ensuring that we can support that neighborhood, then we're going to have to look at some solutions probably that we've been unwilling to consider before. That may mean things like other sanctioned encampments. That may mean things like tiny home or pallet shelter communities. One of the hurdles, I think, to the Cannon Street opportunity or idea is that for many of the individuals we're talking about, we may still have some insurance-based challenges. Now, if we can get the right support so that they have what they need, I think that there are ways to get that insured. But there's just a few different dynamics there that we'll have to consider in the process. But any effort on your part collectively to be creative and throw out their additional options, we're really willing to partner with you to figure out how we can use those together.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Last question. Actually, it's my only question. You mentioned tiny homes, you mentioned RV parking, and we've been talking about that. It is in the contract, I think, that you signed with the mayor that we would be exploring this. And I'm wondering, because the city of Spokane has taken on so much, is this something that we really should consider for within the Spokane city limits, or is there potential for us to look outside perhaps other WSDOT right-of-way outside the city limits where we can locate some of these facilities so that it's not on us, all of this is on us, but we're spreading the love?
Councilmember Kinnear, you asked that question in such a diplomatic way. No doubt, homelessness is not a problem that is confined to the city limits of Spokane. And the population that we've seen at the camp has reflected that. We know that folks that are at Camp Hope have previously lived throughout our county and outside it as well. So I think we want to have a collective solution or set of solutions to that. I suspect that if we start with a focus on y'all need to do your part too, we might have a hard time getting folks to the table. Whereas if we start with the data that says, here's who this population is, and we collectively have some responsibility and may have, when we pool our resources, some different opportunities for how we can address those issues that we might be able to get and probably should get some of those other parties to the table. We're definitely invested in having similar conversations with the county commission, with other institutions like Spokane Valley as well.
Thank you.
Councilmember Cathcart and then Councilmember Bingle, and then we're going to need to finish up.
Yeah, no, I just couldn't agree more. I mean, we have to have those conversations with the partners, in the region. And I know there's been some consternation, much of it over how we view their past efforts in a lot of this, and that's got to change. And so I really do hope we'll have a joint council meeting between the valley and the city so we can flesh out the many issues that they have expressed the last 2 weeks and get past it and get a regional authority put together that can do some good. So I agree with you. I think that we've got to have those communications.
Thank you.
Councilmember Bingle.
Yeah, and this is just a quick thing. I think oftentimes when we're talking to the public, pallet shelter and tiny home is used interchangeably, but there is a difference. Could you quickly describe the difference between the pallet shelter and a tiny home?
Councilmember Bingle, thanks for the question. There are a few differences, I would say. One is that there's actually a company that's in Washington I think they're called the Pallet Shelter Company. So they have a particular product that they use, and many different municipalities have engaged with them to provide communities. So the structures themselves are often different. When we think about tiny homes or even ADUs, there's a level of kind of plumbing and electricity that oftentimes is kind of fundamental to that structure, whereas a pallet shelter is often more temporary and doesn't have some of those same options. They can, so they're modular, so you can kind of develop them in different ways. But yeah, I think oftentimes when we're talking about pallet shelters, we're talking about a more basic level of resources that are available in each of those, and tiny homes often are more supported. In both cases, I would say, if you're just talking about the structures, then we're not actually having the real conversation we need to have, which is what's the kind of community that we know is successful when you put those together, and what kinds of additional supports are needed to support that population. So,
Perfect. Thanks for all that you do and all your team and everything. We're so appreciative. We're so happy that you've made great progress, and we're looking forward to continuing to work with you. So thanks.
thank you.
Thank
Been a pleasure.
you.
And Mr. Giddings, we saved you for last because you're the most important. And we're so excited. But we've been having a good record of study sessions lately of actually super interesting things. So-
The opening bands were so good, there's not time for the headliner right now.
But you can, there is. Take as much time as you need.
That's right. Do we have our,
Yeah, if you close out of that, I have limited capabilities with my mouse up here, but if you right click on it, you can hit end show there
click better?
At the bottom.
at the very bottom, yeah.
Is it a right-handed mouse?
There you go. And then that folder at the very bottom of the screen, little folder icon, further down. Thanks, Jacoby. Your presentation should be in there.
All right, hit that one right there, you got it. All right, thanks for allowing us some time today. For those of you who don't know Adam, he's our Assistant Fleet Director. He handles a lot of the operational stuff, so if any questions, in fact, we've got a lot of our fleet team here, so any question you may have, we can probably answer it. Fleet team's been in place for about a year and a half, so our primary goal today is just to talk about what fleet's been up to and give you talk about where we're heading in the future and give you a chance to ask any questions you might have. Now, recent development, because of some retirements and some changes in our parts department, we have kind of an opportunity. We're at a crossroads, more or less. We have an opportunity to make some changes that can save some money for the way we issue parts and improve the way we issue parts without having an impact on our workforce, right? So So we've asked for a little time to talk about that too, and I know we're running low on time, so
Don't, really don't worry about it.
Okay, all right, thank
It's
you.
not your issue, it's our issue. So, we asked too many questions from before, but we want to hear from you.
So to get started, as you remember, about a year ago, we briefed the Green Fleet Transition Plan. Essentially, it was a robust planning tool that we can use to make decisions about vehicle replacement and charging and sort of the costs associated with that. Recently, Frontier Energy, the company who was responsible for helping us with that transition plan, delivered this final kind of summary called the Green Fleet Playbook. Green Fleet Playbook supplies us with some strategies to reduce emissions citywide, describes the makeup of our fleet, provides education about clean fuel vehicles and charging technology, gives us some planning and implementation tools to help us keep our transition on track, and it describes how our transition plan aligns with the Spokane Sustainability Action Plan. This is posted to the Sustainability Action Plan website, so if you want to go take a look at it, that's where you'll find it. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go through all of their recommendations, but I want to make it clear that most of the items in the Green Fleet Playbook align really closely with the goals and initiatives that Fleet set out to achieve early in 2022. We'll say this, as of now, all light-duty vehicles are being replaced with electric vehicles or clean fuel vehicles whenever a vehicle is available that fully meets the need of the using department, and the life cycle cost is equal to or less than a conventional, internal combustion engine vehicle. Trucks and heavy equipment are still going to be using renewable natural gas. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. There's some exciting stuff going on there. We're well on our way in terms of charging infrastructure. We've got a lot of stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute too. And of course, since technology and vehicle availability are changing on a rapid basis, we're monitoring the industry so that we can make smart decisions as to the direction that our transition goes in the future. 2022 initiatives, these are some of the projects and foundational improvements that we identified as goals early in 2022. This police cost usage study, that we've actually been working with Matrix on that for the last several months. Final results came out just yesterday. So we're working our way through that. There's some interesting stuff there, but we'll have to schedule a briefing for that at another time. Thanks to Adam here, we were able to secure a new Mack electric refuse truck, rear load, to test out for a week. Just as a high flyover. The drivers loved the vehicle. It was quiet. It was fun to drive. The community commented on how quiet it was. In fact, they thought someone was out there stealing their garbage because they couldn't hear the vehicle. But it did fall fairly short of operational needs, even in the ideal conditions that we tested it in. Even at that, it did provide us with some insights on what it would take to have charging and what it would take to have heavy-duty electric vehicles in our fleet. We're not ready to run out and buy a whole bunch of $1 million electric garbage trucks, but we did learn a lot in the process. Preventative maintenance improvements. We updated maintenance intervals to align with manufacturer recommendations. We found actually because of modern engines and modern synthetic oil that's being used, we're actually changing the oil in many cases twice as often as we need to. So just this small change saves a fair amount of money for the city and also reduces the downtime for the vehicles in the fleet. Our Clean Fuel Infrastructure Reserve, as you know, this is a program to collect a per gallon surcharge on city fuel usage, and we're using it as a funding source for charging infrastructure projects. It is unfortunate that the fuel surcharge coincided with record fuel prices, but without that in place, we wouldn't have been able to install a fraction of the charging infrastructure that we were able to last year. Charging infrastructure deployment. In 2022, we added 30 AC Level 2 chargers across the city. We've got several more projects that we're working on right now. By the end of 2023, we should be well over 60 AC Level 2 chargers for city use across the city. Nearly all of these have been built with the aid of grants or incentives from SRTC, the Department of Ecology, or Vista. And of course, we're continuing to monitor our availability for grant opportunities in partnership with our partner fleets around the state and organizations like WSU Clean Energy, the Department of Commerce, Clean Cities, and our own local group here, the Spokane Regional Clean Transportation Coalition. Vehicle purchasing process. With this tight market, streamlining the purchasing process was necessary. We started having proactive meetings with the department so we can identify needs much earlier, mapped and implemented process improvements with tremendous support from the purchasing department. But the single most impactful change has been City Council allowing us to obtain pre-purchase approval for vehicles. This really has made all the difference in our ability to purchase vehicles in this tight market. Vehicle coding, so changing our vehicle coding in the system seems like a small thing, but it really helps us to streamline our data. But more importantly, it allows us to directly compare and benchmark our fleet with other leading fleets around the nation. M5 data accuracy and functionality.
Can you tell us what vehicle coding means? We don't know what you're...
So vehicles are classified by asset class, category, tech spec. So which basically, it's a hierarchical categorization where we put them in different buckets down the line. That way we can take a look at a class of vehicles and compare our maintenance cost on that particular class of vehicles.
Okay.
So M5 is our fleet information management system, and it is a powerful tool, but it's also very expensive and very complex. We've spent more time on this initiative than anything else we've done, and the reason is that everything that we're doing, everything that we're planning for the future is going to be built around this data. We've invested massive amounts of training and spent hours learning about how the system works and how it can help us automate processes. While we still have more to do, we are no longer limited in any way by our ability to extract data from our system. Just a few things that we've been able to deliver, and I'll go through these quickly. A work order status sheet, we've replaced a lot of manually updated spreadsheets with reports and tools that can automatically track vehicle status, technician notes, those types of things. This has represented a huge workflow improvement for our foremen. We've unleashed our dashboards to each position, so our foremen and our parts techs, mechanics, commissioning techs can all have their own dashboard so that they can track, they can monitor at a glance all of the metrics associated with their job. We've done report automation. We've just rolled out individual devices, so we've given our mechanics laptops and tablets, which eliminate shared logins and allow for things like electric parts requests. They really just improve efficiency, accountability, and communication for our mechanics. Increased customer service. We're going to talk more about this because it's a big topic. This is really phase one. We've also deployed dashboards for each department that are customized to their individual needs. So each department now can see things like the number of and type of their own particular vehicles that are down, the status of their own work orders, upcoming and past due preventative maintenance jobs, fuel consumption, anything that the departments want to look at, we can provide that to them. And work towards better communication. We're holding regular meetings with the departments to discuss vehicle and service needs, vehicle availability, as well as receiving feedback on where fleet can improve our service. And to that end, we've embedded a customer service survey into each of their dashboards so we can see it real time when either things are going really wrong or things are going really right. Big focus has been and still is in the fundamentals of increasing vehicle availability, reducing downtime, turning our repairs around faster, increasing the ratio of planned versus unplanned repairs. We've made some big strides there, but we've still got a long way to go. Part of the effort has been reevaluating our vacant positions, and reclassifying to focus our resources to increase productivity in our shop and decrease our admin costs. Telematics, we're hopefully going to be talking a lot more about telematics in the coming months. Right now, we're testing telematics for viability, specifically for EVs. electric vehicles. Most of the top tiers in the fleet utilize telematics for their vehicles. For us, odometer or hour.
We don't know what that is either.
Yeah, it's coming. So telematics is a device that it's basically GPS tracking, but it also allows us to get data from the vehicle itself, and it automatically enters it into our system, right? So for us, odometer and hour meter reads are the most important data that we collect. We use them for all of our analysis: life cycle analysis, fuel economy, utilization, preventative maintenance forecasting, essentially everything that we do. Most frequent and reliable meter reads are currently collected when a vehicle fuels up. Since electric vehicles can fuel in a variety of different ways, either at home or on connected chargers or non-connected, we call them dumb chargers, or at commercial chargers, we need a vehicle-centric way to gather this data. So, and we know from our testing that telematics provide all this data. It's a fairly cost-effective way to solve this problem. Telematics also provide a lot of useful functionality for the city in general. Vehicle location for routing and asset management. Just knowing where our vehicles are at any given time is a huge help. Over or underutilized vehicles, so we can see, if we have vehicles that need to move to a different place. Safety features, driver behavior, instances of speeding, fast starts, fast stops, turns, and it also provides driver coaching, aids in accident prevention and investigation, and tracks at fuel economy and idle time. And we'll talk a little bit about idle time in a minute. There's a cost associated with it. However, it is widely accepted in the industry that telematics will save a fleet much more than it costs a fleet. Centralized fleet policy, we're about halfway through that. This hasn't been updated since 2011. A lot of things have changed since then. The vehicles that we can buy, the vehicle technology, those types of things. So we're basically starting over and reimagining fleet policy to include cradle-to-grave topics from vehicle acquisition, commissioning, utilization, safety, all the way to disposal and sort of all the topics in between. We're also working with other departments currently with purchasing and safety to ensure that our policy, as they are rewriting their policies, that our policies are aligned with one another. And tool program development, we need the tools to do the job. Tools are expensive. Our program is just basically designed to ensure accountability, standardization, and consistency for the tools that we need to use. And then finally, on 2022, adoption of renewable fuels. So one of the most impactful and beneficial projects that we've been working on in 2022 was the adoption of renewable fuels for vehicles that either don't have a suitable electric or zero-emission vehicle substitute or aren't yet due for replacement. Diesel and CNG vehicles make up about a third of our fleet, but account for about 75% of our fuel consumption. So there you go. So just some facts about the renewables. Renewable diesel reduces greenhouse gas and tailpipe emissions by as much as 85%. It will be more available this year. We haven't got any specifics, but it's coming now that the Washington State Clean Fuel Standard's in place. It's a drop-in fuel, which means we don't have to have extra tanks. We don't have to clean out old tanks. We can mix it with the stuff we have. It costs us nothing to get it. It's cleaner burning. It's less maintenance. It's better for our engines. And the best part about it is it's also, as we look at California with their low-carbon fuel standard or Oregon with their clean fuel program, renewable diesel tends to be slightly less money or about the same price as traditional fossil diesel. Renewable natural gas, our garbage trucks, most of our garbage trucks run on CNG, compressed natural gas, which is considered to be a clean fuel. And so the question is, why would we change from one clean fuel to another one? And the answer is renewable natural gas further lowers greenhouse gas and tailpipe emissions. It can be carbon negative depending on the source, which is something that even electric vehicles can't claim. It's also supplied through existing infrastructure, so we don't have to do anything to get it. And it's available now. We're actually drafting an RFP to select vendors to supply us with RNG. And, of course, the most exciting part about this is that the renewable ID number market can actually make RNG substantially less expensive than CNG. So just to give you an example, we're working with the Port of Seattle. They've been using RNG for a while. Currently, with the vendor that they're using, they're actually making a profit for every gallon equivalent that they use, which means that the RINs, their renewable ID number, their carbon credits that they're trading, are actually bringing in more money than they're paying for the renewable natural gas in the first place. Which means if that holds true, now that it's not going to hold true forever, but if that holds true, we can actually fuel our garbage trucks for free. So, I hate to build too much hope in that because a lot of things are changing in that market, but it's pretty encouraging. And then this alternative fuel excise tax credit, it was just a neat bonus. As we were doing research on this, we came across the alternative fuel excise tax credit. Tough crowd.
Nothing personal. They're going to solve City Hall space issues.
Okay.
So while you continue, you're solving the whole world issues. They're going to solve this city.
So this alternative fuel tax credit was something that we stumbled across as we were doing this research. This is essentially a 50-cent per gallon excise tax credit on alternative fuels. It's been available for alternative fuel dispensers since 2016. We, as the city of Spokane, dispensing our own fuel, qualify for that. So we have qualified since 2016. We can only claim 3 years prior, but we were able to get in under the wire, register as a clean fuel dispenser, and so we claimed 2019, 20, and 21. Last year, we're expecting a $508,000 check to be coming anytime. We can claim 2022 right now. We're expecting about $195,000 for that. And since this has been extended through 2024, at least 2024, we're expecting a couple more years of being able to claim roughly $200,000 a year on that. So over the course of this, we're looking at about $1.1 million coming to us, money that we wouldn't have known about otherwise, right? So, so 2023 and beyond.
Before you go past that, is anybody looking at alternative fuels using used vegetable oil?
Yeah, so vegetable oil, so renewable or biodiesel was kind of, I think, vegetable oil. There's been...
But this is the stuff that the restaurants would be throwing away.
Sure, yeah.
So you can retrofit your vehicles to use it, and the stuff coming out of the tailpipe smells like French fries instead of diesel.
I was going to say you could.
And so
make
this
French
is
fries while you're
sort of a
driving.
hobbyist thing, right? There's not enough supply of restaurant French fry oil. And I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
But so a lot of individual people are building their own diesel out of this stuff and collecting this stuff.
So it's not something that
It's
can
not
be used
scalable.
in-
Yeah,
Okay,
we
got it.
might be able to fuel a vehicle or
Maybe
two out
just
of it.
one.
The other thing about it is that it gums up in engines. It's not renewable. When we're talking about renewable diesels, we're talking about something that is pristine and chemically identical to fossil diesel.
Got it.
Without all the other gunk in it, right? So
It's clean.
it's clean and it can run in every vehicle. Biodiesel can't run in every vehicle. Any older vehicles, you have to. It won't work in there. So 2023. So as you can see, it's topping the list. Customer service. This is a target-rich environment. We've come a long way. We've got a long way to go. But even with process improvements, job reclassifications, uncomfortable amounts of overtime in 2022, and heavy reliance on outside vendors, we still struggle to keep up with breakdowns in preventative maintenance. There's a variety of contributing factors for this. We're working on an aging and overutilized fleet, especially with solid waste collections. They own about 110 vehicles of our 1,500 vehicle fleet, but we spend more than 50% of our time working on garbage trucks. We've had, like everybody else, we've had challenges filling vacant positions. We've had vacancies due to injury or illness, kind of an inordinate amount of that last year. And of course, the COVID catchphrase, supply chain disruptions having part scarcity. We acknowledge and we're very aware that we can't change a lot of these factors. We need to come up with more creative solutions to the challenges. These solutions come in the form of continued process improvements, improved training, but we've also added a VEU analysis to our list. A vehicle equivalency unit analysis is sort of the industry standard for determining staffing levels in fleets. And even if the analysis determines, as we suspect, that, and based on other indicators as well, that we don't have the proper number of technicians in our shop, additional full-time employees will actually save us money. We spent about $300,000 in overtime last year. We spent about $2.6 million in outside vendor repairs last year. So adding full-time employees can help us to save a lot of that money, right?
And
Yes.
Councilmember Kinnear and I might be looking for work next year, so you could maybe hire us.
I don't think so.
We have some temp seasonal positions open right now. We
Okay,
need vehicle
see?
servicers. We need some parts technicians.
And
So
she can have that oil truck,
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
going to be.
gas, okay,
send your resume to Adam.
okay.
Make her stop.
Fleet performance metrics. So work on our M5 system and data management has brought us to the point where we have more reliable information relating to the overall health of our entire fleet department. So we're choosing to align our performance metrics, how we rate ourselves with the NAFA Top 100 Fleets criteria. NAFA is the top fleet organization in North America, and their Top 100 designation is one of the most respected fleet awards. The criteria include 16 metrics covering productivity, turnaround time, fleet availability, several different things relating to fleet health. For us, it's not about winning an award. It's really about making our fleet better and being able to benchmark our fleet with some of the top fleets in the country helps us to track our success in that. Fleet policy. So quickly, once we're done with the citywide centralized fleet policy revision, we're moving our focus to an internal policies and procedures. And our goal is to have a live document that clearly defines all of the policies and procedures and expectations for the things that fleet does. We see this as something that we can update, hand off to future generations. So if there ever is a shakeup in leadership like there has been in the past, we have a strong foundation to pass on to the next generation. Replacement modeling, we have some new software that will allow us to more sophisticated replacement modeling so we can make vehicle replacement decisions based not on just age and usage, but also on things like resale value, maintenance costs, and fuel economy. The goal for this is to provide enough data so departments can make some smart long-term replacement decisions. So we can start to play more offense and less defense when it comes to vehicle replacements. Along the same lines, replacement funding strategies. We know that vehicles and equipment are critical to our mission to provide services to our citizens. We know that this equipment ages and it wears out at a fairly predictable rate. What's missing in some cases is a consistent, reliable citywide funding strategy to replace these assets in a proactive and strategic way. There are a lot of forms that this could take, and there's a much larger conversation that needs to take around this citywide. But at this point, we just like to get that conversation started. Right sizing, we plan to take a hard look at vehicle utilization across the city to identify underutilized units that can we can either sell or transfer to departments that have a more pronounced need. We'll also be evaluating facilities and departments where either pool vehicles or vehicle sharing may be useful. That's a really good way to save the number of vehicles in our fleet. The goal is to reduce the overall size of the fleet without sacrificing the usefulness of our fleet. Idle time reduction. Reducing idle time can have a huge impact on fuel consumption, maintenance intervals, and carbon emissions. Without telematics, there's that catchphrase again, to track idle time, all we can do is educate, but in the absence of telematics, if nothing else, we would like to get that conversation started also. And then the big reveal, securing and streamlining our parts department and inventory. Mapping and streamlining processes in our parts department is something that we've been working on for a long time. We've had some recent developments, some retirements in our parts room, and so we're at a crossroads. It's a good time to start talking about our direction when it comes to our parts room. So I saved this one for last, so go ahead and hit, there you got it. Oh, you're right ahead of me. So just some background. The city paid for or funded studies from Asset Works in 2015 and Public Fleet Advisors in 2018. Both of them listed closing our parts room as one of the main priorities. When I say closing the parts room, I mean our parts people issue 100% of our parts through a secured parts room. We lock the door so our inventory isn't at risk. We also talked to, we invited internal audit to come in and analyze our operation. Her result was very similar. Securing our parts room was one of her main recommendations. So just to give you a snapshot of our parts room, we hold $1.7 million in inventory. 600,000 of that inventory is what we consider obsolete, which means it hasn't moved from the shelf in over 24 months. That's a conservative number. Most places figure 12 months, right? We've got a complex fleet, so we're giving ourselves an extra year. That works out as near as we can calculate to about $75,000 a year that we're spending on inventory that may never get issued to a vehicle. We turn our inventory 1.5 times a year. Industry tells us that a healthy inventory should turn 3 to 4 times a year. We're, again, as near as we can calculate, around $30,000 shrinkage yearly since 2016. And that's mostly in the form of parts that have been installed on vehicles, but for whatever reason, not issued to a work order. We have 4 full-time positions to cover 3 shifts. And of course, the people living their lives means that there are time off, there's sickness, there's all kinds of things that cause us to have shortages on a fairly regular basis, that to a point where 1 or more shifts, we don't have staffing to issue the parts like we should be doing. To that end, 70% of the parts that we issue are still issued by mechanics. Only 30% are issued by parts staff. That represents about 3,000, conservatively 3,000 hours of mechanic time spent issuing parts, which works out to about 2 full-time employees that we have that should be working on vehicles, but they're issuing parts. Waiting for parts, WFP, one of the main causes of vehicle downtime. So at any given time, we could have around 60 vehicles not usable because we're waiting for parts. And of course, to further exacerbate our challenges, we've had 2 recent retirements of experienced parts technicians. And that's in the last month. That's 50% of our parts staff. These parts positions, we can hire these parts positions, but they're promotional from equipment servicers. Equipment servicers, we already have vacancies in equipment servicers, and we have difficulty hiring those positions. So before we could fill the parts positions, we need to fill the equipment services. We just can't afford to not have people doing the preventative maintenance on the vehicles, right? So, and by our estimate, even if we filled up those 2 slots, by our estimates, by the math that we've done, it would take us at least 2 extra full-time employees, so a total of 6, to issue 100% of our parts out of our parts room. So the big reveal, Napa IBS. Napa IBS, just to let you know what this is, this is an on-site parts room that's maintained and operated by Napa. There's several options for pricing. We think the 10% markup plus admin costs is the one that's going to be the most cost-effective for us. Inventory is dedicated, customized to our needs. Their goal is to supply 90% of the parts over the counter to us, which means 90% fill rate, which means it's on the shelf, we request the part, they bring it out to the vehicle and hand it off.
So can I ask a question?
You bet.
Does this mean we don't lose any position? I mean, nobody's going to lose a job.
Yeah, and I'll go into more detail on that in a second, but our plan
Okay.
is exactly that. The reason that we're having this conversation right now is because with those 2 retirements and needs in the rest of the fleet, we can reclass those positions to higher paying positions, more promotional positions, and more productive positions, meaning less admin, more people turning wrenches, getting vehicles fixed, right? So that's why we're having this conversation right now.
Thank you.
You bet. So, so what we're looking at with the 10% markup is essentially parts that we would buy from Napa, that Napa sells over their counter, a substantial savings in prices. Parts that we have to buy from outside vendors or OE, that type of stuff, they'd be slightly more money. So the average between the 2, we think Napa claims that it's going to be less money. We think a break even would be about as much as we could hope for when it comes to parts pricing. They supply an inventory dedicated for our needs. It's our inventory, but we just don't own it, right? We have a regional distribution center a mile and a half away. We have access to experienced parts professionals, 70 people around town to meet our staffing needs, which means if we have somebody sick, or one of the people that are staffing our parts room is sick or on vacation or whatever, we have a bench of experienced people to come in and fill those positions. So we always have the same number of people in our parts room. And the investment, Napa IBS owns and manages the inventory. We don't need to have that $1.7 million of inventory sitting there. We pay for the parts. When we request the part, the time we pay for it is the time it comes across the counter and it lands in our hands. And of course, we only write one check for parts and supplies every month, which means the 100 POs that we're issuing on average per month out of there, we don't have to track and mess with those. We don't have it near the vendor contracts to maintain. And then, of course, it's customized for our fleet. They can sell us everything that we're issuing right now. This is not something new. I mean, this is used by many of the most respected fleets across the United States: New York, Chicago, Sacramento, places that have garbage trucks like we have, and they have police cars and are doing a similar job. We actually visited Sacramento last week. There's a case study showing that their productivity went up by 40%. Their downtime went down by 60%, saved them roughly $1 million a year. They've been doing it for 12 years. We got to talk to their people sort of without Napa in the room. We got some real information, really encouraging there. So the nuts and bolts. So we're looking at parts costs, operational costs, inventory costs. About the same price for parts that we're paying right now. Substantially less money in operational costs. With what we're paying right now in parts staff, plus the two positions that we have to that are coming off the floor to issue their own parts. We're looking at about $685,000, about a $400,000 a year savings in operations. And of course, when we don't own the inventory, the shrinkage is not our responsibility. So we don't have to pay for that missing inventory. Same thing with obsolescence. We're not buying parts that we're never going to issue, so we save that $75,000. That's another $105,000 right there. So we're looking at total yearly savings in around $500,000. One-time savings $1.7 million. And I know we're way past, so I'll just quickly go through the summary. No inventory costs, substantial operational savings, a 90% fill rate, which we can't even come close to right now. Downtime reduced for our vehicles, increased productivity, so we have mechanics doing things the mechanics should be doing. Our parts room is secure. We don't have the liability associated with the parts room. We don't have to worry about people being on vacation, making it so we can't issue parts. It's full staffing. Fewer contracts, fewer POs and invoices to reconcile. Oh, sorry.
No, that was.
Okay. And then, of course, they're a huge company. They have a vast parts sourcing network, more than we can access from where we're at right now. Immediate warranty coverage, and again, like we talked about, the most important part about this, the reason we're having this conversation is that we can now do this without having an impact. In fact, we can do this, and it will have a positive impact on our productivity. We'll be able to fix more vehicles and have less admin costs. So,
I do have a quick question.
Yes.
So I'm assuming the employees are Local 270, and has Local 270 been, I mean, do they know what's going on?
Yeah, we met with Joe last week or the week before, Joe and Natalie, and told them of our plan, told them sort of our plan to make sure that our employees are not negatively affected by this. Yeah, he seemed positive about it, at least not actively against it, so that we took that as a positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great.
Any other questions?
No, I do have one question for you, but I realize this is kind of a big change, and there's only 3 of us here to see it, but I appreciate it, all this report and all that you've done in my
a lot of work.
7 years on the council. I've never seen anything like this from Fleet, so great job, all of you. I just had one specialized question, as you might, which has to do with electric vehicles. Councilmember Ringel and I have been talking a little bit about charging infrastructure and electric vehicles, and there's been more and more move to have, for certain vehicles, take-home vehicles, not just police, but code enforcement and fire marshal. There's all these different things where there's a vehicle assigned to an employee. And so we have been talking about, all right, what if we make an agreement with the employee that will install a charger, not a super expensive one, but in their garage, and it can charge overnight. They get the benefit of having free transportation to and from work. They pay for the electricity for it. We don't, that's the trade-off, but then we don't have to have a charging infrastructure at a headquarter type place. We don't have to deal with parking overnight. And I'm just wondering how feasible, again, it's not going to be for every vehicle, but for a portion of the vehicles, if you think that is worth exploring.
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of the talk about telematics is centered around finding a way to reimburse employees for at-home charging. But in order to do that, we need to know exactly how many kilowatt hours go into the vehicle at their residence. And so there is a little pushback from police about getting telematics in their vehicles. And so we're working our way around that. But telematics can provide us with that information. And then, in fact, we're doing a pilot right now with a company that claims that they can provide us that information without giving away the vehicle location. I don't know how that's going to happen, but anyway, so that conversation's happening. I agree. I think that if we can provide a benefit to the employee, a benefit to the city, and save ourselves charging infrastructure, I don't have a problem with that.
And I think it's fine to ask them to pay for the electricity costs if we're giving them a vehicle free transportation back and forth, because that's a quid pro quo. I mean, it'd have to probably be negotiated in the union, but I wouldn't give up on that until you have to.
No, we're not. Yeah, we know we're used to uphill battles, and so absolutely, yeah.
This is quick. Did you just say that you can't, with telematics, identify the location of the vehicle, or you can?
The whole reason for telematics is to identify the location of the vehicle, and that's where the police sort of have they feel it's going to be a union issue to have the vehicles, tracked all the time.
They don't want,
They want us to know where they go?
this on their personal time.
Yeah,
Well-
Or their home.
This is the pushback. We're pushing back against the pushback, and so this is early in the conversation. But yes, telematics. We'll need to know where the vehicle is so that we can know who we are reimbursing for the charging, and we'll need to know how much to reimburse.
And the other piece, of course, is, honestly, I wouldn't be in favor of doing that if you live in Idaho. But there has to be a parameter around which we would do that, because vehicle miles traveled is still vehicle miles traveled, wear and tear on tires, et cetera. So if you're commuting back and forth to Coeur d'Alene, I'm not interested.
When would you like to schedule our matrix study briefing? Because that's going to cover a lot of how far can the vehicles drive and have it still be cost effective and have a benefit. So
Hanley will work on it, but we definitely, so is it, well, you just got it back, but now we
Yesterday,
could
yeah.
schedule it, so
Yeah.
it won't be next week.
no, not for us
It
either.
won't be for a few weeks, but
Yeah.
Because we don't have time, but yeah, we're super interested in having that.
Okay, great.
This was good, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you bet. And so, so next steps for us, I assume we need to kind of get a contract in place. Today on the Napa thing, we're just looking for any objections that people might have, any questions that might have, anything we can answer between now and when we put a contract together.
Yeah.
But
I think it would be a good idea to just have since you only got to talk to three of us about that, to send a one-pager out to council and staff that just says, as we discussed at study session, and I'm sure you've reviewed the video, not, but here's the proposal we're looking at. If you have questions about it, get a hold of us, so that suddenly it shows up on a committee as a contract, and they're like, oh, I've never heard about it. So proactively send something. It doesn't have to be everything that you sent, but just something as a trigger that if someone really cares about it, they can reach back out to you.
okay,
And I
similar
believe
to-
Tanya has kind of walked around, because I knew about it last week.
Yeah.
So she may be talking to people individually.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a surprise, but we do want this to go through fairly quickly, and we want it to go through. We want to make sure that we have an opportunity to answer any questions
Yep.
about it. So, all right. Any
That was
questions?
great.
All right.
Thank
Thank
all.
you.
Thanks.
And we're adjourned.